Hey guys, I have the MN82 Landcruiser here that I wanted to give you a little setup tour. As you can see, body is basically stock with very minor modifications, mainly for clearance. I'll show you that in a moment. Had it for a short time. Just did a few minor modifications to it to make it perform a little better, but very simple setup. So let's go through the setup tour. Alright, so I'll start with the body. The first body modification I made was to the over fenders here. I cut the bumper here. It had the arch extensions coming down to here, and also on this side, but after upgrading the tires, it's fine when driving normally. However, on the full suspension compression, you would get a little bit of binding from the over fenders, and actually after changing the tires, it actually killed my servo because it would catch on the inside of the fender, and it overworked the servo and killed it. So yeah, I made those modifications to eliminate that problem. Speaking of the servo, I just went with a simple setup here for the servo. It is a Surpass 17G servo. Nothing too strong. It's stock internals in terms of the motor and the receiver. So I didn't want anything too powerful. It was more of a replacement than an upgrade. It still is better than the stock one, but it's not like a huge upgrade. The issue I'm finding with this servo actually is because the tire compound is so sticky. What happens is when the car is stationary and you try to turn the wheel, it's a little bit reluctant until you move the RC, and then it turns no problem. So that was an observation here, but it does get the job done. As you can see, there's a lot of steering angle here. Runs pretty good. Gets the job done for what this truck is. I wouldn't call this a rock crawler. I would call it like a capable trail truck at the moment. Regarding upgrades, as you've seen, obviously we have the tires here. I have full metal suspension parts. I'm currently running Endurance shocks from the TRX4M. Those are the 59 millimeters. Front and back. Funny thing about the back ones, because it's at they're positioned at an angle, what happens is you don't get the travel like the front shocks. So these work fine for now. I do have pretty good articulation right now, but I do plan on upgrading to longer shocks in the back so I can get a little bit more suspension travel in the back. But as for now, it's pretty good. One thing I noticed when I first got this truck was the body was great, however it was super light. So the issue was you would try to go over some obstacles, and because the body was so light, it would easily pick up the tires, and it just you could see that the suspension had more to give, but because the body was so light, it wasn't utilizing the suspension as good as it could. So I added some wheel weights here. These are some bigger size ones. As you can see, they're mainly used on trucks, like trailer trucks, tractor trailers. I added them in various points to add some weight to the body. I actually had more than I do now, but after adding the full metal parts, the truck became too heavy for the stock motor, so you would really see it struggle on some obstacles. So I actually took some out and played with the weight balance to get it to perform in a acceptable way. I do want to talk a bit more about the suspension here. Like I said, it's the TRX 4M 59mm shocks that I'm running currently. I didn't go with the bright colors. I do want this truck to look kind of OEM plus, nothing too fancy and bright. They do have shinier axle assemblies. I just wanted the one with a little bit of color, not too much to make it have that kind of stock look. But back to the suspension here, I do want to say getting this suspension set up and working was really a pain, if I'm being honest. It really didn't work so well afterwards. I played with shock weights and the shock collar setup, spring rates. These springs actually aren't from the TRX 4M. These are from another shock that I had. So what happened was with this TRX 4M shocks, with the stock springs, the rebound was really not good. It would compress, but the shocks were too soft to pick the body back up. So I really had to play with the spring rates to get it dialed in to where it is right now. Now regarding the back, I'm actually doubling up the stock TRX 4M springs. So actually there's 2 springs per shock on the back here, because I had the same issue where on rebound it really didn't want to rebound properly. So I had to play with that to get it to where I liked how it worked. As for the battery, this thing comes with stock with a 500 milliamp hour battery, and I'm currently running a 2000 milliamp hour battery in the stock position here. Didn't have to make any cuts, no modifications whatsoever. Like I said, I don't want to modify the body by cutting it and so on. So I want to, and there isn't much of an aftermarket for this body, so, or for the MN82. So you have to kind of do your research to see what's compatible, what isn't. I don't want to cut the body up too much. I do want it to have that stock look, like I said, and just be the best it can be as it sits, but yeah, so 2000 milliamp hour battery here, tons of run time. But the issue that you're finding now with this battery is, because it runs so long and because there are so many upgrades to the vehicle overall, what happens is the stock motor starts to overheat, and once the stock motor starts to overheat, it really loses performance. So that's another issue or setback. So that's really the next step right now for me, is to find a better motor to go into the stock position here. I know it's a very common upgrade for people to use the 370 motor. I'm not sure that's the one I want to go with. I'm thinking of going something bigger. But I do want to use the stock transmission. By the way, I do have all metal gears in the transmission. But back to the motor, I'm trying to do some research to find the right fit on a motor replacement here. I'm gonna do an ESC upgrade as well. So if you have any options that you think would be a good fit, please let me know. As for the body and upgrades, I'm contemplating whether or not I would do a bed cover or a canopy. Again, I'm doing some research to see what's the exact fit or the look that I want to go for. So I'm just keeping it simple for now. Just a few simple stickers here all around, just to give it that kind of OEM look. Simple setup. I've toyed with getting a light bar as well, things like that. I do want to get a light kit. I might get a grill as well. But again, we're gonna take our time on this build, you know, and just find some real nice parts and build it little by little. But yeah, that's the review of the truck. Very nice truck, lots of fun. Yeah, if you have any suggestions, people, please share and let me know. I'd love to hear your feedback. All right, thanks for watching.